Howdy, folks, and welcome to a classic It Came From Facebook episode. We're giving it to you straight and dirty today. We got the weird, we got the strange, we got the truly insane and psychotic listings for you. No long preamble, let's get right into it. 2023 Harley-Davidson Freewheeler, $43,000 of 2,500 miles. So somebody dropped a ton of money into a strange Harley trike and then decided, you know what? I don't really want to ride this thing. You know, it's always kind of funny to me when you see these really expensive, really custom motorcycles that have barely any mileage on them. It means that you probably modified them beyond their intended use case. Seller says 2023 RG3 Freewheeler for sale. Now, I'm not up and up on the kind of Harley trike lore, but what makes this a freewheeler? To me, this is like a prison wheeler because you have 3 wheels instead of 2. You're not really moving the soul, are you? And you're also not moving the body. This is sort of like a my mind may be shackled, but my body wanders free type of moment. $43,000 takes home this absolute beast. He's saying that as if it's some kind of bargain. This machine is loaded with mods that'll have you saying, "Oh my lord," the second you twist the throttle. Built right, sounds mean, and turns heads everywhere it goes. This isn't your average freewheeler. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what an average freewheeler is supposed to look like or be. It's a monster with attitude, serious power, serious presence, and ready for its next owner. If you're a serious buyer, message me and I'll give you a full breakdown of everything. No scammers, no games, serious inquiries only. God bless all. So right off the bat, I'm seeing that it is equipped with a turbo kit, right? This is something you see sometimes on these big Milwaukee 8 Harley-Davidson engines. Guys will throw on turbos and then they're like, "Oh, brother, it's making 160 horsepower now." And I'm like, you could have just bought a Rocket 3 and saved yourself all this time, effort, and energy. Harley guys are really funny. They'll drop 20 grand on the Screaming Eagle Stage 9 package just to make less horsepower than any leader bike on the road. But regardless, you know, with 3 wheels, you're definitely going to want some extra poke underneath the hood. So we've got all of the Screaming Eagle performance parts here. It's probably like a performance head or whatever. Everything is like crazy branded for Harley-Davidson stuff. This side over here, I believe, I'm not too up and up on the Harley-Davidson engine architecture, but I assume that's the clutch with some sort of like special case for it or something. This kind of looks like a Ducati dry clutch cover, but I don't think this is a dry clutch. I think that's probably sealed with the oil inside of it. I see it says Trask on there. Trask is usually the brand that I've seen that does these turbo kits. Probably a higher spec clutch to handle all that extra torque and power, baby. He's got like the reverse foot control thing, so you can do them here or do them here. On the other side, it's like this is like a heel mounted thing or whatever. It's always so strange. These guys like keep reinventing the wheel when it comes to like motorcycle controls. I don't know why. Got the big floorboards and you know, like the back half of it is just a trike. The front is the motorcycle. It's got the silly ape hangers. You know, the color's kind of neat though. I do like this color. And I gotta say, I'm gonna sound like a complete D-bag, but I do think that Harley does nice paint work and they do a nice job on the paint and the finishes and all that. Credit where credit's due, okay? As a Ducatisti, as a guy who likes nice and, you know, finished and polished things, I gotta hand it to Harley. Some of their stuff does look nice. But obviously, this is a monstrosity. A turbocharged tricycle going for $43,000. Completely psychotic. If you ever truly wanted to have something psychotic, this is it. This is one of the weirdest ones I've ever seen in my whole life. I'm not even kidding. 125cc lifted bike going for $300. Homemade lifted dirt bike. Hasn't been started in a while. Needs a new chain tensioner. Don't really use it. Needs some work. Asking $300. I'm speechless. You know, you didn't have to tell me it's homemade. I can definitely figure that out myself. What I want to know, well, I want to know a lot of things about this. The more you look at it, the more questions start to come across your mind. So first of all, why, right? Why have you done this? What could you possibly need this amount of ground clearance for, right? It's that classic quote, I believe it's from Jurassic Park, where he's like, your scientists kept going and never bothered to ask if they should, or something like that. Like they thought if they can, but never bothered to ask if they should. This is a similar story. I mean, you can walk right underneath this thing. This looks like it's clear, you know, like 4 feet off the ground. There's so many questions about this. Let me see if I can see another photo. Look at the linkage to the shock. Oh my God. And I think this was, I believe, what used to be the rear brake caliper. And then there's obviously no chain going to it, so there's no power as far as I can tell, but the chain would have to be about a mile long. So this was where the brake caliper was. There's like sprockets here. So yeah, this must have been a carrier for the chain down here, because I see a sprocket right here. There's a wheel from, like, this looks like a rear stand or something. Like, why is there like a shopping cart wheel right here? And of course, there's a mobility scooter right there with a gas tank shoved in the basket. You know, if anything ever screamed crackhead activities, it's gotta be this, right? And now, why do we have like a Sasquatch style image of the person riding it? Because you know that that's a mythical creation. You look at that rake and that wheel and tell me that thing's gonna handle appropriately, you know? This is what I imagine it would be like if you were a caterpillar and you found yourself on a tiny toy little car or something, and then a toddler comes and picks it up and just like yeets you down the driveway. Like, this is you on this motorcycle by choice. And do you think that there's fork oil in here? Do you think that there's a giant spring from here all the way to here? Do you think he custom fabbed the spring to go all the way up? The brake line doesn't appear to be attached to anything down here, so I don't think you really stop this motorcycle. I think you kind of just suggest it. How do you even mount up and take off on it? Do you have to like get a ladder and then jump up on there and then make sure you go away from the wall? Again, the mind wanders and just the imagination really starts going when you look at this thing. The lifted 125 for $300. I mean, this is garbage, right? This is just a piece of garbage, but it's fascinating from an anthropological perspective, from a human spirit perspective. It's just, you know, I'll say it. It's magnificent what we can achieve when we put our minds to it. Moving on. Boy, I'll tell you, today's video is really stretching the limit of what I think is a real image. Some of these, I'm like, there's no way this is like a real bike, right? So 2009 Harley-Davidson Streetglide, $24,000, 21,000 miles. I have to believe those 21,000 miles were put on before this bike turned into this. It looks like one of those old-timey bicycles. What are those called? The penny something? Penny... I don't want to say pennybacker. That's the bridge we have here in Austin. It's penny something for the motorcycles, or the bicycles that had the really big wheels. So perhaps someone from like the 1910s, if they could time travel, they'd be like, oh, bloody brilliant, mate. Look at your penny bike. Why do I always turn Australian? I don't know. It's hard to do a British accent. Fully custom bagger, show bike and street machine. Turn heads everywhere you go with this one-of-a-kind custom bagger. They're always one of a kind, aren't they? No expense was spared in this build. From the paint to the audio to the suspension, everything has been professionally customized and built to stand out from the crowd. Well, you know, much like a coral snake or another sort of predator, you will certainly stand out from the crowd with this insane color combination. Color combinations that you seldom find in nature. Although I do have to say, this shade of green and this orange kind of looks like the Pride of Barbados plant I got at my place right now. Looking pretty nice. Massive 30-inch front wheel, $17,000 custom paint job, air ride suspension, custom ballistic fairing. Wait a minute. What's that fairing? Hold on, let me take a look. Yo, no way. They put like it's like a ZX14 fairing on the chopper. No way, dude. You know, I tell you guys all the time, there is a universal overlap. The Venn diagram between guys who like bikes like this and guys who like Hayabusas, it is simply one circle. It is not an overlap. It's not a, oh, you know, they something like this, something like that. No, it's the same guy. The same guy that customizes a crazy stretched chrome Busa is also doing these insane choppers. That really is the only conclusion I can come to. A 30-inch wheel, 116 horsepower, custom stretched bags and bodywork, show quality detailing throughout. This is a prime example of god-awful taste but good execution. Like, it is clean and it is well built and it appears to be built to a decent standard, but it always, you come back to it, you're like, why this? Why, what? It's so raked out, a 30-inch front wheel with this blade right here, dude. This thing, like, it looks like it's gonna come off this bike and just careen down the highway and slice somebody's head off. Ultra low res image of it. This must have been taken in a period correct way whenever this thing was designed. This looks like a 2009 image. bike parked up in a skeezy, weird swingers garage. He's got, what's crazy is he's got this big daddy bagger back here that's in orange, and this on its own would be a gaudy, ridiculous looking motorcycle. But then next to this, you're kind of like, hey, look, a normal motorcycle. You're like, hey, look at that normal bike in the background. Even the floorboards have like a knurling to them. And the shift rod over here has like a special thing to it. And this has, it's all so extra, isn't it? It's so ridiculous. Screaming Eagle, whatever the hell. You got this thing over. This is for the intake. Man, only Harley people, dude. I swear to God, only Harley people, only corn-fed Americans. Yo, the screenshot for this photo has his music right here in the background. My man was jamming some tunes, taking screenshots of his phone, and his bike was on there. He's like, my bike looks so sick, but I can't figure out how to copy and save this photo to Facebook to share it. So I'm gonna take a screenshot. I'm like, brother, yeah, just another day in paradise, as Phil Collins would say. So 2015 BMW F850, $500, 50,000 miles. The bike's kind of just tipped over. What's going on here? The case is open. There's like cement blocks in the background, gas jugs, chain is rusted. This is really sad. BMW F850, but it looks like we have 4 cylinders. Did they make a 4-cylinder F850 in 2015? I'm seeing 4 pipes right here. Okay, hold on. Let's see the description. I don't know if it turns on. I am unsure where the key is, but there are a few key rings of keys that you are more than welcome to try and see if you can find the correct key for the ignition. Why don't you do that? Why don't you find the key and then you at least stand the bike up? If you find the key and stand the bike up, you could get at least $1,000 for this thing. You get $500 by just lifting the bike up and shoving a few keys into the ignition and just seeing if it works. I don't know the status of it mechanically. I would say poor. If I just take a gander at it, take a little cursory look, it looks to be in poor condition, so I'm selling it as is. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't know any more than I do. This guy's, did I write this? Is this some sort of psyop? What the hell's going on? It's like, is this even your bike? What is this listing? Bike is just toppled over. This is the only other image we have. It looks like it's just shoved up against the side of like a shed in a backyard or something. Why is it tipped over? Just pick it up. I can't believe you took photos of it just tipped over. I can't even see it. This is beyond, it's like, oh, I only got photos of one side of the bike. It's like, no, I can't even, like, what's underneath there? Why? Just pick up the damn bike. That is crazy work, dude. Trying to sell something like that is nuts. You just got a bike that's just tipped. And 2015 is not even that old. A 2015 bike being sold for $500. That's not even that old of a motorcycle to be abused in this way. You know what it is? With 50,000 miles, I think someone bought this, did crazy amounts of touring with it, and then just like, they were like, I got my money's worth, and just literally dumped it like a Huffy bike in the backyard near the shed, and then just said, you know what? I don't know anything about it. Maybe this guy woke up from a coma. He's confused. He's kind of dazed, doesn't remember where he was. And then okay, here's what happened. He crashed the bike here, and then he hit his head, and he doesn't remember. And he's like, oh man, I need some money to go get a taxi or, go somewhere. I gotta go see my cousin in New Jersey. And then, the bike is just tipped over. He takes the money, Otherwise, I don't understand why this is being sold this way. One thing's for sure. If you have more questions than answers on any Facebook marketplace listing for a motorcycle, my professional advice from me to you, and this is free, just walk away. Walk away, my friends. Moving on. They get stranger and stranger. A really nice and clean 2021 Honda CRF 300L BVC big wheel with 130 miles on the clock. This baby's brand new. $5,500. Practically brand new 2021 Honda CRF 300L with BVC big wheel kit. Bike runs great. I don't know about that. Has very little use. Save yourself the hassle of installing one of these kits yourself, having everything already put together. What even is this kit? It's like, honey, I want a TW200. Oh, we have a TW200 at home. What? Why what? Oh, what even is this? It looks like the front sprocket has been relocated off of where the engine is supposed to be. And this looks like a different swing arm to accommodate. It is a different swing arm. Look, it goes out wider. It goes out wider. And there's like a whole different like assembly for the brakes and all that. This is like a legitimate kit. But why? Why did you take a 300L, which is a perfectly good little dual sport, and you turned it into a Frankenstein like TW200 looking thing with a, like, I can see that there's a chain behind this one right here. So this output gear, obviously, of the engine is still the same. This front sprocket's still here, but then it goes to this, and then it goes to the rear wheel. And this is on like super puffy, weird, what is this, like a 12-inch rim? It's like, just get a Honda Grom. It's like very obvious you wanted a Grom, right? Because now this bike's gonna handle like absolute trash. Okay, so you went from having a 21-inch front wheel, okay, and the rake that goes along with it. You've downsized this to like 12 inches. This thing's gonna ride like garbage. This is gonna be at best like a putt-putt bike for the backyard. And that's just dumb. Why would you do that with this thing? If someone in the comments could explain to me what is the purpose of a BVC big wheel kit for a Honda CRF 300L, would love to understand what this is and why, because I genuinely have no clue. I swear, this week's listings have been just completely bonkers, haven't they? Totally nuts. 2015 Yamaha Zuma, fully built with a turbo, $1,800, 150 miles. Boys, if you want to be boosted on two wheels, this is probably the cheapest way you can do it. Seller says, this is not your average Zuma. Well, clearly, my friend. This is a fully customized 2015 Zuma project that was built over the course of 2 years with high-end aftermarket parts and attention to detail. For someone who understands what they're looking at, this is a serious opportunity. I love that. He's like, for the real connoisseurs out there, you're about to get a real treat. Highlights. Turbo setup. Yes, it's real. Custom Shark rims. Two Brothers exhaust included. Multiple aftermarket upgrades throughout. Clean title in hand. Important. This scooter has been in storage and has not been started recently. It will require mechanical knowledge and tuning to get it dialed in. This is best suited for someone experienced with modified scooters or small engine builds. Well, let's take a look, shall we? So, got the turbo. Looks like a decently clean setup. Tiny little turbo. Zuma 125s, I believe, have a 125cc two-stroke engine, which is probably why he's got the oil big chill in there. So this is a very unique setup over here. We got, what is this over here? This looks like fuel maybe going out to somewhere. Is this an intercooler? This looks like the world's tiniest little intercooler for the turbo. That's crazy. I mean, it certainly looks like it was reasonably professionally done. Yeah, that is I believe that's an intercooler right there. I didn't think you'd need an intercooler for that. Look at this crazy ass swing arm and frame setup over here. And I tell you what, I do like a Zuma though. I really do. I'm really wanting a scooter lately. I'm not gonna lie. I'm contemplating what that scooter might be. I'm debating some Vespa options, two-stroke options. I'm also debating maybe even electric. I like that BMW CE2 that I had a while back, which is crazy to say, but no maintenance, right? Pretty sweet. Zuma 125 turbo, though, I gotta say, it's gonna be a pass for me. There's really no need to turbo a Zuma, right? Like, sure, it's kind of fun, kind of interesting, but it's not necessarily a platform you're gonna get big power out of. That's my thing. Here's my whole thesis on turbocharging a bike. The only platforms you should turbocharge are bikes where you can make prodigious additional power on top of it, and it can handle said prodigious power on top of it. So basically, I only think you should turbo like ZX14s and Busas, because then you can at least extract and enjoy the additional power gains that you get on top of it. I feel like turbocharging small displacement bikes just to gain like 30 horsepower, it's just not worth it. Just get a bigger bike. Just get if you have like a 650 or a 750 and you turbo it, it's like you could have just bought a bigger bike and it would have been just as fast. There's really no point. There's basically no point in turbocharging a motorcycle unless the manufacturer's doing it for emissions purposes, like Honda's trying to do with the new V3 or Kawasaki does for performance reasons for the H2. But that's my spiel. Bizarre little Zuma, I do have to say. Oh boy, 2026 Buell Super Cruiser, $28,000. 2026 Buell Super Cruiser, says the seller, if you know what this is and want one and don't want to wait, here is your chance. I am just not comfortable on it. No tire kickers, only serious buyers, please. Title in hand. So Buell Super Cruiser is the new big displacement, big power cruiser that Buell is doing. And I'm going to be totally honest, I am not a fan of the Super Cruiser. This to me is like a really poorly executed hodgepodge of a bike that's built to just, cash in on some, money that Buell could make. Because, I mean, look at this thing, okay? You have this really rudimentary, like, cradle frame that they set up. This engine and this swing arm and this exhaust, all of this is just from the Superbike, right? You took the Superbike bones from this and you said, okay, I'm going to make a cruiser. That doesn't really work. It doesn't really work to make a cruiser using a Superbike swing arm with the pivot point way up here. And then it's got 17s front and rear. It doesn't look correct either. It doesn't look like a muscular cruiser. It genuinely looks just like I hate to say it, kind of like a backyard crap bike. I mean, I hate to say that, but with the bar here, and then this is the same instrument cluster as the Buell Hammerhead. This is super outdated and super just like old, I do think that this person bought this bike and just kind of like, probably pooped their pants a little bit riding it, because it is, I mean, that Buell motor is prodigious. This thing makes like 180 horsepower and like 100 foot-pounds of torque. And if you're just like some cruiser guy and you're like, yeah, I'm going to just buy a Super Cruiser, I mean, you're not going to have a good time. This thing is all kinds of messed up, dude. Look at this radiator. This like off silver colored coffin radiator looking thing. I don't think these are interesting or cool at all, I gotta say. It's just like a real hodgepodge bike that probably has no business existing. Yeah. And honestly, I'm gonna say it too, I think it's embarrassing for this to be like, oh, hell yeah, brother, it's an American brand making American bikes. I'm like, this thing is like $20-something thousand, is not anywhere near the fit and finish of any legitimate motorcycle company. It's using hodgepodge parts from the Superbike. It's not to my taste, not to my standards. I think if you have that kind of money and you want a cruiser, just go get a Rocket 3 or Diablo. You're going to be way, way better off. Way better off. And probably able to resell it too. The market for these is incredibly niche. Not that many people are interested in these. So moving on. Last but certainly not least, Yamaha VMAX for $20,000. Anyone interested? Only Texas massage. Only Texas massage if you're interested. Now I gotta say, the bike looks like it's in a good home. I'm seeing a clean, organized garage. I'm seeing nice landscaping in the background. I'm seeing possibly someone who's a well-adjusted human being, but 20 grand, come on! You didn't even give me the year. You didn't give me the mileage. You didn't give me anything. Love me a VMAX though. Really do. Really do. I've been jonesing for a muscle cruiser. I may do one as a giveaway when I've fully lost my marbles and I don't actually care about visibility. I'm like, here's a VMAX. Let's go nuts. But 20 grand for the old VMAX, it's a bit rich for my blood. Maybe 12. I'll give you 12. How do you think about that? 12 grand for the old VMAX. So boys, that's going to wrap up our little show today. I hope you had some fun watching these truly bonkers listings we saw today. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had some laughs, and hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks so much for checking it out. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.